looking at a mock draft here for the NFL 2023 draft. And free agency is going to be the big caveat here. It's going to throw a lot of things into chaos. So I just want to take a quick look before the scene gets smattered and all of our predictions go to shit. What's up? It's your boy Cintron. Come back with another reaction / analysis news video. And I kid you not, that's my real name. And this is a mock draft. I looked through a couple that had a trade caveat here with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. So they have already given the Packers the Jets' 13th overall pick in exchange for Aaron Rodgers, with Aaron Rodgers being allowed to talk to the Jets. And you don't do that without, some confidence in him, that being the landing spot for him. And them wanting to get a look at Jordan Love, the quarterback that they drafted 3 years ago. And, it's just time, like eerily similar to Aaron, who sat behind Green Bay Packers legend Brett Favre for 3 years. And, just want to see what you have invested in that pick before you have to let him go for essentially nothing. And I can understand that. And just like these winds blowing out here, these trade rumors are swirling around. But it might just be a foregone conclusion, like they're saying here. They allowed the man to talk to him. There's a high level of interest in going there, and it, would change the landscape there in the AFC, adding a powerful NFC quarterback to the AFC equation, and weaken the NFC. So it maybe could make the situation more beneficial for the Eagles. But let's continue on and let's look at this first overall pick. So the Carolina Panthers select C.J. Stroud out of Ohio State, and he's actually, I think, number 2 rated behind the guy below, Young out of Alabama. But he has he's 6'3", has the arm talent, can make all the throws, makes intermediate throws, like targets the middle of the field very well. So that's attribute to that pro style offense that he plays there, plays in there in Ohio State, at Ohio State. And he thinks he's a junior, so he still had a year of eligibility left. But the chips, his stock was maybe you gambled on it never being higher than now. So he went ahead and decided to come out. And the Panthers, obviously that blockbuster trade they made with the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears made out like bandits. They got a second round pick this year, the 61st overall pick. They got a 2 next year, a 1 next year, as well as a 2 in 2025. So they made out very well as getting DJ Moore, a Pro Bowl receiver, who's just signed a 3-year, $60 million contract, and going to be a great talent for Justin there in Windy City. So I mean, it's a great foundation for them to build off on, and them not having to find their foundational piece, their quarterback. They've already found him. So now it's about equipping him with protection and weapons, and giving him a defense to play with and build upon to try and set those building blocks in place for him to take off. I think this is his 3rd year, so trying to replicate the Jalen Hurts experience there, as well as here with Frank Reich, him formerly being of the Indianapolis Colts. But before that, he was, the offensive coordinator here with the Philadelphia Eagles under Doug Peterson. When the Super Bowl, we went all in on Carson Wentz and us getting the quarterback of the future. So him seeing that template, he's decided to implement it himself and go and get a guy. If you identify a guy, at the top of the draft, don't play around. And I believe that you should go and get your quarterback of the future, because that position could set you up for success for years to come, or set you back if you miss, or if you don't have a guy there, you're just wasting your time with a jag or a placeholder that is only going to hold on to for so long, and it's not the long-term answer. So they identified C.J. Stroud here, decided to go up and get him. And they're this is a mock draft, so all results are not final, but you going up there, and you give yourself a 3-way at if you want Richardson, if you want, I don't think it's Will Levis. They could just maybe waited if they wanted to draft him, C.J. Stroud or Young. So you give yourself the pick of the litter, and I don't think they're going to trade down after receiving this pick, even though they could potentially with number 2. But I think that would be too much of a cost, and you'd be happy at 2. Select one of those guys. I say at number 3, I think it's the Cardinals. They maybe, if they would have their mind set on the quarterback, and they might just have to take the best of what's left. All right, let's continue on though. Houston Texans here select Bryce Young, so like, you know, why mess around with it? You had the incumbent there. He's, you know, believed to, you know, to be a decent guy, but just not the guy. They give him a couple chances, but they haven't put enough weaponry around him. But here you get a chance at a top-notch guy in Bryce Young. The only thing, you know, question mark with him is his size. He's very slight of frame. He's like he's like 206 or 73 or 4 or 5 pounds, whatever. But he's very light, you know, so it's not like he has extreme speed or anything like that. So you better protect him. Put, you know, pieces around him on the offensive line to make sure he doesn't end up like, you know, David Carr, you know, just a shell of himself by the time he actually, you know, they actually got an offense, or, you know, a decent offense around him, or, you know, protection on the offensive line. He was just, you know, shell shocked. So yeah, I mean, that's what you do at the top of the draft. You take those most valuable players. He might not be the, you know, the fifth most talent. I mean, the inside of the top five, the most talented guys, but, you know, it's a premium in that position. So they try and set the franchise up. And I don't think they go wrong, but we'll see if he can go on to be durable in the league. I don't know if he had issues with you know, being injury prone or anything like that, but we'll see. All right, next, Arizona Cardinals go with the slam dunk here. Will Anderson coming off the edge, you know, just highly rated player, the most highly rated, you know, pass rusher in this draft. Ranks about a 4.6, so he's a decent guy. But his ability to just get pressure there at Alabama, just unquestioned. So very solid pick, you know, beginning to the Jonathan Gannon era there. So he tries to find his Hassan Reddick. Next, we have Indianapolis Colts going here with Anthony Richardson, and them just getting, you know, the best of what's left as far as, like, you know, potential wise. Will Levis maybe definitely a better prospect with the tools right now, but Anthony Richardson just, you know, salivating over his talent. The guy throws a pretty ass deep ball. Runs a 4.43, so can get away from people chasing him. I mean, he played in one of the toughest college divisions in the SEC. Didn't show everything that you want to see, but the guy's just a redshirt sophomore coming out, so he has a lot of room for growth. Hopefully they can be patient with him, and ideally it would be, you know, best if they could redshirt him, but, you know, it's a win now league, and they did just hire Shane Steichen, and he may have some ideas of how to use him, because, you know, his last quarterback wasn't a slouch, you know, just Jalen Hurts. So we'll see what old Steichen can kick up there in Indy, but, you know, would be a great pick. Could be too early for some people, but, you know, that's what the draft is for. You take shots, and potential franchise quarterback. Can Indy strike gold 3 times within my lifespan? Yeah, maybe so. All right, the Seattle Seahawks. Jalen Carter here falls because of, you know, all that hoopla about him. It's self-inflicted wounds with him, you know, reckless driving after the national championship game, and not directly being involved, but, you know, kind of an accessory to a fatal car crash. Buddy of his, you know, losing his life, and O-lineman, as well as a recruiter for the Georgia Bulldogs. But, you know, the Seahawks, if everything checks out, you know, they run up to the podium and turn their card and, you know, make this pick. Guy can pass rush, D tackle, has gap discipline, and yeah, he's just like the premier interior talent on the defensive line this year. So yeah, I think it's a slam dunk for them if everything else checks out. Now here we look at the Detroit Lions. I've seen this in a couple mocks, and as well as, like, you've seen that people picked them in more than one edition. Christian Gonzalez, they line him up across Jeff Okudah there in Detroit, and have a pair of corners they can ideally match up, you know, with guys, you know, in that NFC North. Christian Watson there, as well as Justin Jefferson, and who's the other team I'm forgetting about. but yeah, I mean, like, you have those guys you go up against. That's 4 games right there. You need a guy who's competitive out there, who can measure up and is quick, fast. So, I mean, he's very smooth, and he's a guy I want for the Eagles. But looking more so that like he won't make it, to number 10 or even past that. And I prefer them to trade back and then try and draft him right smack dab, almost in the middle, at like 15 or 14 there. But we'd love to get more draft ammunition. We'll see how that goes, but it'll be a solid pick for Detroit there. Las Vegas Raiders take the best of what's left here with Will Levis, the senior, coming from Kentucky. Very solid guy, very talented guy. He sees the field very well, targets the middle of the field, intermediary routes, very good, very well. And yeah, man, he interviewed very well there at the combine. So smart guy, the eldest of this bunch, but the guy who's going last because of, and those guys have technically have a higher ceiling than him, but you couldn't go wrong with Will Levis, and the Las Vegas Raiders fill a hole there after Derek Carr, they let him go this offseason. So I mean, starting over from reset for Josh McDaniels, and I don't know, I don't trust that dude with quarterbacks, so might be Will Levis's funeral. All right, number 8, Tyree Wilson. One scout had him as the most freakishly talented D end in this draft. So the Atlanta Falcons feel a need here, and put somebody next to maybe potentially Grady Jarrett to have a dominating half of a line there. And yeah, sets them up for success. They have that cornerback back there. I forget his name. He's a talented guy, but hopefully quickening the quarterback's clock and making chances for, I think, not Tyree, I forget his name, but yeah, talented guy there. So putting more pieces in place for the Atlanta Falcons to be successful in the NFC South, which is a weakened division, so they could have a good chance. This increases it. At number 9, Chicago Bears, who obviously they traded down with the Panthers, coming down from 1 to number 9, Paris Johnson. So they can go with either guy, Skoronsky, I think is his name, or Paris Johnson. I think Paris Johnson might have the bigger upside, and he's a younger guy. Yeah, he's a monster over there at left tackle on that line. It gives them like protection that just like I said, building blocks, pieces to protect the quarterback, and Justin. So you want to have your franchise quarterback play for a long time. This gives him a piece that enables him to play and not have to worry about his blind side. All right, let's move on to number 10. The Eagles here pick Devin Witherspoon. Most people have him as the most highly rated corner, but I think it comes down to flavor for some teams, and they prefer Gonzalez over like the only thing with Witherspoon is his size. He's 6 foot, $180, and I don't like that as well. But he's the most polished, talented guy who went up against the most certified competition in the draft at corner, and came away with the best results, a mix of that. So the Big Ten, he has some good receivers and stuff like that, but yeah, he did it the best. So he acquitted himself, and you look at his rating, he got better each and every year, and he had like a 25 or something like that, cornerback rating, and he only allowed a couple hundred yards and maybe like 1 TD. So acquitted himself very nicely. I'm like, I'd take it, but I wouldn't be, I'd be happy, but I would like, Gonzalez, preference. All right, next pick. Here's where Peter Skoronsky from Northwestern goes. Titans can't go wrong here. They let I think Taylor Lewan, go in the offseason, so they need to fill that spot there. I think some people have them as the highest rated tackle as of right now. I don't know if the future projections, but he's a very great. He's a great pass blocker there, and it would give them some protection for either for Tannehill, as he's the quarterback of the foreseeable future for now. All right, Houston Texans and pick Jordan Addison. This is kind of like I don't know. I don't see them rating him that highly, but could be. He's a precise route runner, but maybe not wanting to gamble with Quentin Johnson here, who I would take if I was a Houston Texans. Give the guy a huge target to throw at with speed. Addison just he's like a buck 70 or so being a very light guy, and you already have a receiver like that on their roster. But and I don't even think they have a tremendous need. So I would see them either going D lineman here. So this is a bit iffy pick for me. All right, moving on to the Green Bay Packers, who then select Quentin Johnson, the receiver. So I mean, I think they'd be happy with him here, but they already have an explosive receiver in Christian Watson. So I could see them going with a different flavor, like someone like a Josh Downs, who can also play in the slot. I don't see Quentin Johnson lining up there, but hey, could be. He's a burner. That's one thing. So pairing him with Christian Watson, two tall receivers on the outside. He's like 6'3", 6'4", and Christian Watson's like 6'4". They're both burners. So I mean, and big, fast guys beat up on small guys. So that would make them quite the tandem. But without Aaron Rodgers, I mean, yeah, you'd want to give your guys weapons. So I can see that actually. The New England Patriots selecting Joey Porter Jr., the sequel to Joey Porter, the offensive linebacker, the outside linebacker. Who used to roam the fields there in Pittsburgh, and good pickup for them. But I don't know. I mean, I don't see with the way New England drafts, you could just never predict what they're gonna do. I don't see them going for Porter here, but could be a sign because they just did lose their safety, Devin McCourty. He retired after 13 years with the Patriots, and they just want to have another solid player in that secondary and try to build it back up. So you can see Bill doing that. I mean, Bill could do anything because he's just such a wild card. All right, the Green Bay Packers here get Broderick Jones, the offensive tackle out of Georgia. I mean, good for them to rebuild that line. They don't know when their left tackle, I forget his name, very talented guy, but often injured. And, this could be a depth move or just upgrade that right tackle spot. But, just a talented player coming out of Georgia, very fast guy as well. Just has speed all around. And, he has some room to grow, but he has a tremendous upside. So wouldn't be a bad pick for the Packers there. Although I could see them also going with a lineman. All right, Washington Commanders, Cam Smith here. One of the talented corners, and actually was number one rated coming into this year. But, he failed. Maybe he had some injuries or consistency issues, but definitely not a bad pick. See if he can revitalize that not talent, but pick up where he left off and revitalize that level of play on the field there. But a good pick for them to help them continue to build that defense. We're going to maybe lose some pieces here in the offseason and try to strengthen some places. And the corner was definitely a place where they had solid play on one side and try to maybe build up, get those, two corners, two good corners. They already have the one kid out of Virginia Tech, I think Fuller. All right, the Pittsburgh Steelers here go with Jackson Smith and Jibba. And, I mean, they've had some talent leave the Steelers receiving core past couple seasons. Juju Smith is out of there. And, what's his name? They traded Clay Chasepool to the Bears. So they just need to restock there. They have a speed guy, a receiver. We played him last year. And he's more of a possession guy. He's not going to burn anybody, but he can also play in the slot, so it gives him some versatility there. And decent pickup. But I also need some help on that back end there. Detroit Lions dip. I mean, with a pick here again. But they try to further solidify that line. Brian Breesy here, the D lineman out of Clemson. Strong interior presence and still a young guy. He can continue to get better. Big upside here. And they put him maybe next to Hutchinson and try to continue to put pressure on those quarterbacks. And Aaron Rodgers is leaving the NFC North, but they still have Kirk Cousins to contend with for the foreseeable future, and Justin Fields. So if I remember his last name. So they're trying to contain those guys there and quicken that quarterback's internal clock. So this gives them another piece to try and build a monster there. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers got to be jumping for joy here. Bijan Robinson, they have so many so many needs that they could just maybe try and fill one here. I forget the running back, what's his name, leaving in free agency, most likely they're gonna try and find another centerpiece here because Tom Brady also retired. Gonna need somebody to lead that backfield, and good for the kid there they drafted, quarterback. They're giving a chance now to maybe just prove himself and give him a proven weapon. And who better to give him than Bijan Robinson? I'd love for the Eagles to pick him up, but just I doubt he lasts long enough for them to maybe we'll trade up in a 20 somewhere. But yeah, man, they have to be happy with this pick. Seattle goes to tight end here, and maybe just trying to get Geno some weapons, but that would be a big sign for them. They're really not set on trying to replace him in the interim. Maybe give him this year and see how he does. But you just want to put as many people around him as you can. Free agent, these picks are very influx because free agency could really throw a lot into calamity. So we don't know if this is going to stick or not. But Geno having another weapon and adding to those weapons wouldn't be a bad idea. The Los Angeles Chargers draft Jalen Hyatt, the receiver, the burner out of Tennessee, around I think a 4.41. I don't see them going with a guy like this. He's unpolished. I would say maybe Downs. He has speed as well, but maybe too similar to Kenny. Not Kenny, but Keenan Allen. So would you want to give him a burner on the other side to kind of give them a different look and add a speedy element? So I could see them doing it, but I think there's some other options that are available that it could go with. But yeah, I mean, it would be a solid pickup addition for them. And the Ravens get Myles Murphy, so this would be a value pick for them. He's been pushed down heavily, due to other positions being valued, but allows them to continue to build on that D-line. I think they have a strong one, and it's one of the key pieces of front seven there in Baltimore. And the good linebackers they brought in. I forget they got the kid from former Alabama guy who played for the Bears. Gave him a $100 million contract. I mean, that sets them up for success, continuing to build on that front seven. All right, the Minnesota Vikings here with Deonte Banks, and it's a position of need for them. Patrick Peterson played for them, played solidly, but he's like 33, and they're going to need an upgrade. And Deonte Banks has that potential. 4.35 guy coming out of Maryland, has a size 201. He's over 6 foot, so has all the physical tools to succeed, and we'll see if they throw him into the fire. But regardless, they're gonna want to see him come out there and upgrade that secondary they have over there in Minnesota. We still have Harrison Smith. All right, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Speaking of safety, drafted Brian Branch here, so just continue to build on that secondary. They dumped the guy, so that we're gonna put him at safety, but that would give them a twin set of safeties with the guy, the young guy that picked us off of the Eagles last year. He's a solid guy. They actually have another solid corner, so give him a 3 out of 4, which ain't bad, and would be a pretty solid secondary there. And then the Giants here draft Josh Downs, receiver. I don't know. I don't think he has. I mean, I think he's a solid pick, but it's not like over the top. But it would upgrade their receiving core because they have, just Jags there. To letting Darius Slayton go, and the other guy who's a free agent came in, practice squad guy, I think, before. He's not the answer. He's an ancillary piece, maybe a 4, could be a 3, but they need to upgrade the talent there, and they're gonna cut Kenny Galladay. I mean, it's just a waste of money there. 4 years, $72 million. They didn't get anything in the return, so they desperately need someone to help Sterling Shepard and the other guys. Maybe a good solid pick up here for Dallas. Keely Ringo, the corner. I don't know if I don't see them double dipping, but I just see them going with a guy who runs a 4.36, and Jerry Jones, salivating over his potential. He plays at about 210. He's 6 foot, so he would give them a big physical presence there at corner. But I just think they're gonna pick up somebody in free agency, and that would shift this guy in the draft pecking order. But there's a lot of things that are in flux. It would be a great addition to help solidify that secondary, but they have a lot of other needs at safety. I think their safeties are gonna both go elsewhere in the offseason. The Buffalo Bills upgrade their O-line with Osiris Torrance out of Florida, believed to be the best guard rated, the first guard we have here coming off the board. And yeah, he's a powerful guy, and he put it himself very nicely at the combine. Nice movement, lateral quickness, and very good agility as well. So the Bills, they need to upgrade the interior of that line. So very nice pickup. They turned that card in quick. Cincinnati Bengals go with Anton Harrison, position of need. We had them missing 3 offensive linemen in their the AFC Championship game, and they severely need some talent there. This will also be addressed in maybe in a free agency. They might go after the Kansas City left tackle. But there's so many things in flux. There's nothing set in stone here. This picture is going to look very different post-draft. New Orleans Saints, Darnell Washington, I don't see this pick. I don't see this being a position of need. They just signed Juwan Johnson today to a 2-year contract. So I don't see them addressing this in the draft. So, but like I said, could be hits or misses here. And finally, we get to the Philadelphia Eagles. Nolan Smith, the 4.39 runner, edge rusher out of Georgia. Like I said, Georgia speed are just synonymous at this point. I wouldn't be mad at this pick. Getting a corner and getting the edge rusher to put across from Hassan Reddick to wreak havoc. A 4.52 and a 4.39 coming off the edge. Man, this could be our version of the nightmare linebacker in Dallas. Penn State kid. So I'd love this pick, to be honest. And but I could see them going in a couple of different routes. Could be offensive linemen are kind of tapped at this point, or they could trade back and try and draft this guy a little bit after Kansas City. But Kansas City might snap him up. But here they go with Antonio Johnson, a safety out of Texas A&M, 6'3", buck 88, and very solid pass coverage skills. And wouldn't be a bad pick for them because they'll probably lose some guys, and they want to upgrade at safety there. Juan Thornhill, not being the guy that they want, and Eric Reed, I don't know if they signed him on a 1-year deal. He might be gone as well. So, but yeah, that ends the mock draft for us, and we're gonna get into just a cut of news. I told you about Juwan Johnson earlier. He signed that deal, so I don't think that the Saints are going to be needing for a tight end. And the Carolina Panthers reworked Shaq Thompson's deal. They were, had him on as a $20 million plus cap hit. Could have cut him. He had no more guaranteed money, but they decided to work the deal. He had 135 tackles for them last year. And the new defensive coordinator, a stalwart for them to continue to build around on the defense there. And we're getting out of here now. Long ass video. Talked way too much, but anyways, you're not even here watching, so who cares? But as always, it's fly, Eagles, fly, and let's motherfucking go.
Like, comment, share, subscribe if you
Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron, Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.